Ron, what is your attitude to libertarian ideas?
As a socialist, I have sympathy with some of the aims of libertarians. For example, I value individual liberty for everyone above everything else. And I agree that nation states are oppressive, wasteful and warlike and need to be done away with. But I'm sure that what libertarians propose will neither enhance individual liberty nor curtail the power of states.
Great. You happy with that? That's great.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, it could have been better.
Yeah.
Better, actually.
I think, well should we run through them all and then any which we think could be...
Well, I mean, you know, it's up to you, Ron, if you feel...
Yeah, the problem isn't with the script, because I've been over that. The problem's in here, you know, and I've got to relax on that.
Whatever, sure.
Yeah, so it's not a problem, you can go through it.
Okay, just one thing, I'm just going to focus in from a different point of view, from a different angle. That's good.
You still rolling?
Rolling, if you just give me 10.
Yeah, I'll give you 10. Okay, action. Ron, what is your attitude to libertarian ideas?
As a socialist, I have sympathy with some of the aims of libertarians. For example, I value individual liberty for everyone above everything else. And I agree that nation states are oppressive, wasteful, warlike, need to be done away with. But I'm sure that what libertarians propose will neither enhance individual liberty nor curtail the power of states.
Great.
Okay, look, the thing is, the only problem is I'm getting Ron in kind of quite extreme profile, and I think it looks a lot better. Obviously, it looks almost like you're looking away in the opposite direction. And
I know, it's my problem with this thing, isn't it? Wait a minute.
Okay, well, you know...
I deliberately didn't fix them to this board. I've brought...
You on?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that dog.
Oh, it's alright, we have a shot at the dog actually
it doesn't matter.
later, and that'll be okay.
Okay, right.
Because that sort of, you know, it helps sort of like good variety to it.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Ron?
Yes.
Action.
Rolling.
Wait a minute, you're rolling.
Go on, ask the question.
Rolling.
Rolling.
You want 10?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay. Ron, what is your attitude to libertarian ideas?
As a socialist, I have sympathy with some of the aims of libertarians. For example, I value individual liberty for everyone above everything else. And I agree that nation states are oppressive, wasteful, warlike, and need to be done away with. But I'm sure that what libertarians propose will neither enhance individual liberty nor curtail the power of states.
Thank you. I thought that socialists advocated state ownership and state control, don't you?
The word socialist has been badly distorted in the last 75 years. The main culprit was Lenin, followed by the Bolsheviks and their admirers all over the world. The Socialist Party of Great Britain, of which I've been a member for many years, pointed out from 1917 onwards that Russia wasn't socialist and could not be at that stage of its development. The other main advocates of state control in this country are, of course, the Labour Party. When it suits them, they call themselves socialists, but when it thinks it'll lose them votes, they don't. One of their politicians in the past defined socialism as whatever the Labour Party happens to be doing at the moment. In fact, there's nothing socialist about what they do.
What do socialists like yourself stand for, then?
For us, socialism is the next stage in social evolution. A far more free and ecologically responsible society which will grow out of this one, if we're quick enough. Our present politico-economic system threatens to ruin the planet in the way it's going at present. The majority of the world's population need to bring about a democratic change without delay if we're to meet human needs, preserve the Earth's ecological balance, and avoid the large-scale use of nuclear and biological weapons.
What is it that you think needs changing?
Socialists contend that it's urgently necessary for us to move on to a more advanced way of organising production and distribution in society, one in keeping with the tremendous strides made by our science and technology. At the moment, we tend to regard the economy rather in the way that we regard the weather, as beyond control, with its booms and slumps like summers and winters. And as long as we leave things as they are, that's how it operates, out of control. But it's a man-made system, a social construct, and it's now far too crude and erratic to serve a modern society's needs. I shall have to cut there somewhere.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. We have to cut together.
Okay, action. What makes you say that the economic system is crude?
Its price structure is a poor one-dimensional tally system which ought long ago to have been superseded by much more complex and sensitive social control. Modern information systems and computing power make it feasible for anyone, anywhere in the world, to know far more about any aspect of the world's production and distribution than was even imaginable 50 years ago, and to find it out within a few minutes. This makes possible a highly sensitive and complex global network of all the production and distribution processes. And it would mean that in place of the enormous financial structure of present society, we should have a much more qualitatively rich and socially widespread system of information and control. Everyone in a socialist society would be involved in the control as they would in the supplying and receiving of information.
Thank you. But why should you want to change an economic system that has proved itself and been refined over 200 years or more?
The system we live under is not simply a way of organising production, society's production and distribution. It's primarily a system of accumulating wealth. Wealth in the form of land, roads, bridges, tunnels, mines, oil refineries, factories, farms, office blocks, ships, all the paraphernalia of modern high-tech society.
Do you want to...
Should we just do that one again?
Yeah,
sounds great sound.
Yeah.
Modern high-tech society.
Yeah, it's quite appropriate in a way, isn't it?
I don't think so.
Okay, shall I ask the question again? We sort of run through. Okay, we're still rolling?
Yeah, I'm still rolling.
Okay. But why should you want to change an economic system that has proved itself and been refined over 200 years or more?
The system we live under isn't primarily a way of organising society's production and distribution. It's a system of accumulating wealth in the form of land, roads, bridges, tunnels, mines, oil refineries, factories, farms, office blocks, ships, all the paraphernalia of a modern high-tech society. The significant social fact about this wealth is that it is not owned by the great majority of the population. And the result of that is that they have little or no say in how all this wealth is used, either from a human or from an ecological point of view. One of the most worrying things is that there's little deliberate human control at all, because the accumulation of wealth, its expansion through profit and reinvestment, is the overriding force driving society. Those who try and divert it or go against it get swept aside. Most people, about 90% of the population, have no means of living of their own. They have no choice but to offer themselves for work to those who do own the factories and farms and offices and so on, for wages or salaries. So for about 50 years, 50 of the best years of their lives, this work under someone else's control takes the bulk of their waking hours, with perhaps another hour or two commuting to and from work. Now, I maintain that this is not liberty, but economic bondage, and it can't be anything else under the ruthless drive for profit. Freedom to stop doing a boss's bidding and become destitute and a social outcast, that's not freedom at all, it's compulsion. Moreover, the fact that we offer ourselves for jobs doesn't mean to say that we shall always get them or keep them. We live the whole of our adult lives under this pressure, this insecurity. And it's made far worse by the fact that periodically and inevitably the spiral process of reinvesting profits to make yet more profits overreaches itself. The productivity of factories and farms ceases to be sufficient to expand production, and then, as has happened throughout the last 2 centuries, and is happening now, we have what's called a recession. We used to call it a slump or a depression or a crisis. And then, Wage and salary earners are thrown out of work. Production's cut back. Companies and individuals go bankrupt in their thousands. Many of those with mortgage or hire purchase debts are unable to maintain their payments and have their homes and belongings repossessed. Millions are prevented from working at all, while those who are still in work are often driven to the point of exhaustion every day. Now, if production were cut back because people didn't want or need the goods and services, that would make some sense. But that's far from being the case. Production is cut, and it must be cut in this economic system, regardless of whether people need the food or medicines or whatever. It's cut because production has ceased to be profitable.
Right, but surely state control of the economy makes things worse.
Socialists agree with libertarians at least to that extent, that attempts at state control or interference in this process usually makes it worse, as happened in Russia and the Eastern Bloc. But left to itself, the economic system has become hopelessly inadequate for what should be a modern, highly developed global society. It's like an old steam tram carried over into the age of supersonic flight. People still resist the increasing pressure to make a radical change in society. But socialists believe that until that change is made, symptoms of the incongruity will get worse. Symptoms such as the increasing crime, the decay of inner cities, the degradation of the environment, the impoverishment of third world countries, the recurrence of famine and disease outbreaks, the outbreaks of armed conflicts all over the world, the increase in the power of states and the harshness of their regimes. Now, although there's nearly always state involvement, underlying all of these are economic causes. And they can only be improved when we decide to dispense with economics altogether and take full social control of our production and distribution. And that will be socialism.
Right, thanks very much. That's it.
That's great. Yeah,
that's
very
great.
That's
Very accomplished.
Well,
We'll walk around here. It's a little countryside.
there's quite a lot. It's a peculiar area, actually, because it's urban all the way around.
Yeah.
There's this little Jasper. You've been out a walk, have you? You've been out a nice walk with your mum. You're a bit dirty, you know, my girl, aren't you? A bit dirty.
It's a dog's life.
Yes. Our two sons say this is our second family. Yeah. There's a certain amount of truth in there. No, not in there. No. Never give up. She's never had enough. You can stroke her and she'll still push you for